what we're gonna show here is the 90-90 hip lift. And so this is a routine that you can either use for movement preparation before practice, or you can do it also as recovery after practice to kind of reorganize and get your body in a more recovered state. So first things first, you're gonna lay on your back, find a nice wall, preferably with no shoes, but I understand that for the convenience, go ahead and wear shoes, not a big problem. You wanna get into a 90-90 position, and so that's a 90-degree position of your knee, 90-degree position of your hip. So what I'll actually have Arinze do is move forward just a little bit more. And so now we're in a good sweet spot. You want to make sure that your feet are nice and straight. We often have a tendency of turning it out. So just make sure that you have your feet nice and straight on the wall. Have something that you can also put between the thighs. It's not absolutely crucial, but it definitely helps this exercise if you're able to put a towel, a ball, a yoga block, something in between to kind of help find the adductor or the inner groin muscles. So what Arinze is going to do here is first, nice and slow, he's going to keep the mouth shut. He's going to take a slow breath in through his nose. Fully exhale out as if you're blowing air through a straw. All of it out. And as you do that, you should start to feel the rib cage kind of come down towards the floor, and you'll start to feel a little bit of the abs. Going again, breathe in nice and slow. Full exhale. Good. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in a little bit of a reach. That's going to help accentuate some of the abdominal contractions. So Arinze, go ahead and reach towards the wall for me. Full exhale, reach. It's going to be important here not to do like a crunch like you're trying to develop your six-pack. It's going to be tempting to do that, so you want to make sure you keep your head back during this. Okay. Now we took some time here for some of the setup. Now the actual real exercise begins. So what you're gonna do is on your next exhale, I want you to lift your butt up about this high off the floor. Exhale, reach. Maintain the ball squeeze. Feel the heels on the wall. What you're gonna do is you're gonna, on your next exhale, pull down on the wall as if you were to drag the paint to the floor. And what you should start feeling already are hamstrings, your adductors, and some of your abs as you exhale full. Nice breath in again. Imagine your pelvis like a bowl of soup. Pour that onto your chest as you tuck your pelvis underneath you. You feel the hamstrings? Good, let's go ahead. What I would do for your routine is I would do about 2 rounds of 5 breaths. So it's gonna be nice and slow. So this is a good start to just kind of get your body into a better working position. And then we'll go into some more hip mobility drills. So let's go one more here. Make sure that you're nice and even, you're not flaring your toes. Tuck that pelvis, rib cage down, and come back down. Beautiful work. So that is your 90-90 hip lift. And now this transition, we're gonna go into the single leg hemi bridge. So go ahead and take that right leg off. You can chill here. Same exact exercise, but now you're working on single leg stance on the left side. So nice breath in, full exhale, go ahead and reach up, and you'll start to feel the abs kick in and the left hamstring going like crazy. You want to make sure that the thighs here are in alignment as you're pulling down on the wall. A lot of times people's knees will drag out like this. I want you to kind of pull this in so you really feel that inner groin as you're focusing on the single leg. Full exhale and reach. Good, again, one more time. So again, you could just do 5 breaths per side. Good, and come back down. So you would basically do the same exact thing on the right side with the left arm reach. What we're gonna show here is the 90-90 hip mobility stretch for hip external rotation. So Arinze is gonna get into a 90-90 position like so. You're gonna make sure that the knee is bent 90 degrees. This back hip is gonna be back and also at a 90-degree position. We're gonna make sure that, if you can see here, his left hip is kind of flared open this way. I'm gonna kind of pull him so he's more squared with this front leg. And so already there you should feel just like a different sensation. So next thing he's gonna check is a nice tall spine. And then from here, what he's gonna do is he's gonna kind of pull himself into the stretch. So go ahead and pull yourself in. You're gonna stay nice and tall, making sure that you don't round, like going round and make it ugly. So a lot of times people will just kind of collapse their spine. I want a nice long spine so we're actually getting the intended stretch from this front hip. He's gonna pull himself in. As he gets out of it, he's gonna push his ankle and his knee through the floor to get up tall. So go ahead and just do a couple rounds of this. Good. Pull yourself in. You should feel a stretch on this particular hip on the glute area. Push through the knee and ankle. Something to note that's pretty common with a lot of hoopers that have hip mobility restrictions is as Arinze folds, a lot of times people will have a pinch on the front part of the hip, and that's problematic. You don't want to push through that. I would make sure that you obviously address the underlying factor and make sure that you talk to your PT to figure out what to do with this. But you want to make sure that as you get deeper into it, you're not getting any kind of pinch, because essentially what's happening is the thigh bone is pinching on the socket, and you don't want to push through that. Okay, let's go one more time. Pull yourself in. Pretty simple, right? Quick little movement prep that you can do for just opening up the hips prior to more dynamic work. Good. And so what I would do is maybe do 10 rounds, 10 repetitions on each side, and then you can go into more dynamic. So what we're gonna show here is hip cars. And hip cars is a great drill to help you learn how to control and open up your hips. And so one way we'd like to train it is here in quadruped or all four position. So what Arinze is going to do is make sure that his hands are nicely and firmly planted into the ground with his elbow creases facing forward. Spine is going to be nice and neutral, nice and tall. And then from here, we're going to work with the left hip. So what Arinze is going to do is going to imagine as if he had a tennis ball behind his knee, and he's going to squeeze that imaginary tennis ball as he goes through the hip motion. So knee to elbow is the first part of this movement. So let's go ahead, Arinze, knee to elbow. And then knee and ankle out to the side. Max out that range of motion without cheating, and then drive the heel up to the sky as you get what we call hip extension. Good. And come back down and reverse it. Go ahead and punch up to the sky. Make sure that the lower back doesn't overarch, and then go ahead and rotate the heel to the floor as the knee comes to the elbow. That would be one rep. So let's go ahead and do it again, Arinze. Knee to elbow, out to the side. Let's make it smoother, less jagged. Very nice. Come back down, punch it up to the sky. Now slowly rotate. Good, let's go one more just so everyone can see let's show a little bit of the sloppiness. So go ahead and go knee to elbow. So we want to make sure we're not overly rounding the spine. When you go knee to elbow, you're staying nice and long as the knee travels forward. As he brings it out, we don't want to do this, right? We're not a dog trying to pee on a fire hydrant. We want to make sure that we're actually getting it from the hip. So here, there. Now it's all hip, all glute. As he punches up to the sky, make sure that you don't overarch that lower back. That happens all the time. We want to make sure this is nice and neutral. Tuck the ribs in. Good. Come back down. Now punch up to the sky. Here's another error. Arch it again. Sloppy. That's going to be all lower back. Not enough hip. So again, now return knee to elbow. Very nice. So what I would do is 5 on each side, and then you can go into, again, more of your dynamic hip mobility or preparatory work for your skills.